Hey team, this is Jason Motte, Senior Vice President, Rancher Government Solutions for Growth and Partners. Welcome to day 2 of DAFITC. I'm lucky to be here today with 2 of the Air Force finest senior NCO leaders, Senior Master Sergeant Select Sullivan, Senior Master Sergeant Rogers. For those of you that don't know, Senior Master Sergeant represents the top 3% of leadership in our great Air Force. I am also a retired Senior Master Sergeant. I have a lot of respect for these individuals. They are part of a somewhat newly created career field, 1 Delta 7s. So I'm going to hand it over to them because what we're asking today and what we want to talk to both of them about is just getting their perspective on some of the challenges that they're facing leading our airmen, developing that next generation of airmen, especially when it comes to some of the complexities of the technology that I personally did not have those challenges as I was leading airmen. So I'll first turn it over to Senior Master Sergeant Select Sullivan.
Sure. Hi everybody. So I'm Master Sergeant Sullivan, right soon to be Senior Sullivan. So as a Senior NCO, what are we charged to do? It's a handful of things, and I'm sure Senior Rogers is going to talk to those things very directly. One is readiness, the other is development and training, physically, mentally, spiritually, all these different things that we're charged with in AFI 362618. So that's the short and sweet of it. But developing humans is messy, yep. Right? And so my go-to is culture isn't given, culture is created. And so don't be afraid. You can't criticize something we're not willing to get our hands dirty on. And so when I talk to my NCOs, when I talk to my senior NCOs, when I talk to CGOs, specifically the NCOs, I carry this bearing around. And so it goes with a story. Ball bearings are found just about anywhere, Jason. So if you look around in your roller skates, if you look around the wheels of your car, Da Vinci used ball bearings to create his flying machine, right? But in San Francisco Airport, there's actually 227 pillars that are in that airport. And anybody knows that has lived in California know that it's prone to earthquakes, right? And so those 227 pillars, they stand there to help support that airport, but what those pillars are standing on is a big 6-foot bearing. And so that bearing allows those pillars to shift 6 inches in any given direction. And so why do I say that is I challenge my NCOs, I challenge my senior NCOs, I challenge our leaders to be the bearing. I challenge them to have the flexibility. They're the backbone of the United States military. They need to be able to bend and adapt to the emerging technologies, to the emerging threats, to all the things, to where we need to be flexible and the chaotic and the fireballs that roll into our squadrons that we got to handle. But also they need to be rigid. They need to be able to hold the line and make the hard calls when it's time to make those hard calls and be decisive. So with that being said, I'll pass it over to Senior Master Sergeant Rogers to see what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm Senior Master Sergeant Randy Rogers. Just what Senior Sullivan said. I agree with everything he says. There's times we have to lead. There's times we have to lean forward, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. Human aspect of it is messy, but you have to care. As a senior NCO, growing up through the enlisted ranks as an airman, I always looked up to my senior NCO, Master Sergeant, all the way up to Chief. In my career, hasn't been the best, has been the obstacles, but every thing that I've been through has been a life lesson. I'm learning from everything. I'm always learning. There's always a teachable moment, and that is what I try to push down to my NCOs, my senior NCOs, airmen, officers, and civilians. We can learn from everybody. But sometimes there's an issue with giving that feedback to them, being direct, being deliberate. Everything what Senior Sullivan said is correct. And we also have to look at the human aspect of it. Where am I at? How do I get there? And how do I do it as a team? Because it's not just me. We should look at it as we, right? And as far as leadership, it's fluid. It goes up and down. If you look at a thermometer, that goes up and down. But the thermostat is the one that controls the temperature. You have to control the temperature in your leadership. And that's my perspective.
Yeah. So I have one more thing to add. So legacy is just not what you do, but what others can do because of you.
Exactly.
Right? So we have to grow fruit on other people's trees. That comes through development, that comes through training, that comes through making the calls, everything that Senior was talking about. And it comes from planting seeds for trees whose shade we'll never sit under. right?
Yes.
And I say that very intentionally, and that sounds very great. It sounds very philosophical. But when you plant that seed, the ground's got to be disrupted.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be some chaos, whether it be operationally or we're dealing with the humans behind the uniform, right? There's always going to be some level of disruption as we lean into the change management that's needed to cause the meaningful work that we want to get after. So everything that Senior said, I agree with. And you've been there, you've been in uniform, you've led both in the civilian world and in the military. I think this is a constant, change is constant, but again, we want a living legacy, but there's going to be some disruption along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I mean, I will say we have a saying in the Air Force, right? Hopefully it's still a saying, but we're always training our replacements. So you listen to these gentlemen talking about planting that seed of the tree that may never sit under, and that's exactly, these are exemplary examples of senior NCOs. Proud to know both of you. And as we say, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. It makes me feel a lot better at looking at the Air Force that I loved and served for 22 years to have such great leaders in their hands. So I do have something for y'all today. If I can get in my pocket, I should have carried it out beforehand. Thank y'all from RGS for everything that you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking time to sit down and have a talk with us.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Yeah.